being caught as a heroin user, whether that is that you got arrested, or that a parent or other loved one finds your drugs, finds evidence that you're using heroin, is a devastating development in anyone's life. And the reason why I think might surprise you, it's devastating because it's transformative and not in a positive way. I used heroin intermittently for a few years when I was in college, as did many of my friends who did not go on to have a problem with heroin. When I got arrested with heroin, it was devastating because I thought my family would forever think of me as this stereotype junkie. I came from a, pretty well-off family, upper middle class. And you never really took care of yourself, and they always take care of you. And the promised tie-in to a family investments and all these kind of things. Then you get into this rehab system, and you have to say that you have a disease and you can't help yourself. So there's the devastation of being branded as a heroin addict, and then you have to deny your own experience, which is, what I experienced as a heroin user was that I wanted to use heroin. And at the times when I didn't want to use it, I didn't use it. But now I had to say, I'm not in control of my heroin use. I'm addicted. That's what going into rehab entails. And you say that to get out of trouble. And you say it enough and you start to believe it. And then your behavior starts to change and you start to really feel out of control. So there was this transformation, and it occurred, the transformation into a heroin addict didn't occur just because I started using heroin. It occurred when I got caught, and I had to be helped through the normal system of help for people with substance use problems, which is the addiction treatment system. After that, I did methadone on and off for 5 years. I thought that if that took away this withdrawal, it would somehow satisfy my craving for heroin. It didn't. I continued to crave heroin whenever I was on methadone. Even if I went for some stretches without using the heroin, I continued to crave it. It got worse. I started doing all the awful things, committing crimes to get money for heroin, and being homeless, and pulling scams, lying to my family, doing all kinds of awful things. For 5 years, I was transformed into a monster. If you saw pictures of me, luckily there aren't too many pictures of me from that time. You wouldn't even recognize me. I thought that it was my fate to be a heroin addict for the rest of my life, because the help didn't help, and it was making things worse. And my parents wanted me to get help again. I didn't think it would work. They said, you have to find something totally different. They did. They found the Freedom Model Retreat. This was back in 2002. And I went there, and all these people told me, you don't have a disease. You're in full control of yourself. You're just using this drug to try to be happy. And that's all right. Maybe you could be happier, though, changing it. That was never the discussion in treatment. The discussion was, there's a lot to be afraid of. You don't know what you're doing. You're out of control. Just shut up and listen to us. And yeah, we know heroin's great. You never get to use it ever again. You're going to have to fight this disease. You're going to be stuck craving it for the rest of your life. That's the price you pay for trying heroin. And you're in for a lifetime of struggle. That was never attractive. People telling me you have to quit or you're going to die was somehow never quite motivating enough. And what they did at the Freedom Model Retreat is they actually put the decision in my hands, showed me I was in control, showed me that there was a possibility to be happier, changing. And I did. And within, I don't know, weeks, several weeks, maybe 2 months after doing the Freedom Model Retreat, I no longer wanted any drugs. And I've never wanted heroin again. It's been 17 years at this point. Because they put it in my lap, in my hands to make a choice. And they made it about my happiness, not about all the bad things that are going to happen. I regret that I was on methadone. I wish I'd found something like the Freedom Model sooner and just made my decisions.